Turning into a high-worth lady. Like any groundbreaking excursion, begins from having the right mentality. Shockingly, most ladies totally neglect this step and spotlight completely on the strategic strategies that frequently don't prompt the ideal outcomes. Reality, as any strategic strategy, if not joined with a genuine outlook shift, isn't powerful and won't ever work. Being a high-worth lady is 90% how you feel about yourself, which is anticipated by your attitude, and just 10% how you impart it to the world through your activities, your nonverbal communication, and how you treat yourself. It is the way you feel about yourself which decides how you act more often than not. Henceforth, the outlook is the main piece of the riddle and likely the missing part of understanding the reason why love and connections are as yet a cause of deplorability. Furthermore, frustration to many single ladies attempting to find a nice individual, or ladies miserably wedded or in a relationship, assuming that you are significant. About turning into a high-worth lady, you really want to foster the attitude that can deliver on request, the instant messages, the expressions, body language, and the mentality of a high-value lady. Here are the 9 most significant high-worth lady outlooks. 1. I decide my worth attitude. A high-value lady decides her own worth. She doesn't permit a person or thing beyond herself to direct her worth. Not her family, nor her companions, or her accomplice, or society. In any case, this shouldn't turn into the premise of your worth. More often than not, individuals' perspectives rely upon their weaknesses and fears. Seldom would you get a fair assessment that is intended to assist you with working on yourself. Frequently you see astonishing ladies who looked blissful and satisfied prior to meeting somebody just to lose all their flash and satisfaction, and become so hopeless in a relationship. Frequently it is since their accomplice sowed the seeds of low. A high-esteem lady won't ever permit this to occur. She isolates herself in her value from any outside inputs. 2. High aim, low connection mentality. A high-value lady gives her all to get what she needs, yet has very low assumption regarding it. Furthermore, this is the mystery behind her prosperity. She has next to no attachment to the result of a relationship except if she has given strong motivations to do so, and this is substantial even when she truly meets somebody who appears to tick the majority of her boxes. She always has as a primary concern that numerous different men would arrange to be involved with her. In the event that it doesn't end up actually working, and she genuinely believes it, this mentality permits her to act in a manner that imparts her low connection and shows trust in herself. Also, that doesn't be ignored. It additionally allows her not to allow her feelings to impede seeing things for what they really are, and try not to pursue unfortunate choices. At the point when you begin anticipating that things should happen that rely upon another person, that is the point at which you lose control over yourself and you become low worth. This is the way you accomplish this mentality. You really want to recollect that connections or any human communications are questionable ordinarily. What's more, that sentiments should be responded to permit yourself to foster any kind of connection. All in all, your connection ought to be contingent, not given for nothing. 3. No apprehension about dismissal mentality. Assuming you have truly being dismissed, you know the amount it harms. The contrast between a lady and a high-worth lady with regards to dismissal is her response to it. A high-worth lady has acknowledged that dismissal as a component of the interaction. She even anticipates dismissal, however she totally isolates her worth from what another person thinks about her. To that end, she doesn't fear being dismissed. Being dismissed expresses nothing about your worth. It simply implies that this relationship was not intended to be. 4. Live with or without it outlook. No one is awesome. There is consistently opportunity to get better. However, in some cases, in any event, when you are giving a valiant effort, there will continuously be individuals who will not be blissful and will hope for something else from you. Indeed, a high-worth lady was not sitting around idly for any man to come into her life and request that she work on herself. She has that mentality as of now. So when she goes over somebody to happy with how she will be, she has a live with or without it mentality. It isn't using any and all means that haughty demeanor. It essentially says that she knows her value and won't undercut herself to anybody. A high-worth lady realizes that she brings a great deal to the table for beginning from herself. so she isn't attempting to persuade anybody to see her worth. A man needs to merit being a major part of her life. What's more, one way he can show this to her is by perceiving her value simply how she is now. Saying this doesn't imply that a man shouldn't anticipate from a lady to change or think twice about even to work on specific things. However, he ought not be expecting changes on the substance of what her identity is. 5. I put myself first attitude. A high-worth lady puts herself first and deals with her requirements before others, as she trusts it's vital for her to have the option to provide for others in a caring way. So how does putting yourself first make you a high-worth lady? At the point when you focus on yourself in your own life, you are sending an unmistakable message to the world that you love and worth yourself. What's more, that are not hoping to acquire anybody's adoration and approval. More often than not, individuals will put others first not out of benevolence, but rather out of urgency for affection and approval from them. Individuals imagine that by putting others before them, they will be cherished and kind. What they wind up getting isn't genuine affection and appreciation. They are rather exploited a high worth. Lady doesn't ask for adoration, nor does she really want outer approval from anybody. So she clarifies that she is the main individual in her own life. What's more, individuals decide to remain in her life knowing that, or leave. 6. I'm my essential wellspring of safety and bliss outlook. High-worth lady sets herself as her essential wellspring of safety and bliss. She is a confident, sure lady who is satisfied with herself. She is responsible for her own bliss and doesn't depend on her accomplice to fulfill her. She is cheerful first without help from anyone else, and she endeavors to impart her delight and satisfaction to the right accomplice. You won't ever see a high-worth lady requesting from others to make her blissful and faulting them for her hopelessness. 7. Quality versus amount attitude. A high-worth lady has an intense inclination for higher expectations without compromise. She esteems herself enough not to offer herself to pretty much anyone. She won't settle if her principles are not met, regardless of whether she needs to sit tight seemingly forever for that. So don't allow anybody to persuade you that you are too demanding and that you ought to settle for the easiest option, since you might wind up alone. If not, indeed, you ought to have a sensible perspective on your value and who you can draw in, yet your principles are what they are and you shouldn't agree to less. 8. Overflow, not worldview limited by fear. A high-worth lady generally sees the glass half full. She accepts there are an adequate number of men out there for her not to overreact. On the off chance that it doesn't work out with one of them, she has faith in her capacity to constantly draw in great individuals into her life. So she doesn't have to hold the people who need to leave it. 9. Complementarity, not rivalry mentality. A high-worth lady isn't hoping to rival a man, yet rather to praise him when a lady attempts to contend with her man. She is generally shaky and needs to demonstrate something to herself, to him, and to the world. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumb up and share with your friend. Thank you for watching.